Have you been wondering how to build a 6 to 7 figure coaching brand online without paid ads? Or maybe are you a fitness coach who is struggling to stand out, be unique, and stand out in a saturated market? There's more coaches online and entrepreneurs competing for eyeballs than ever. And I find that a lot of coaches are struggling to stand out and build their own unique story. Oftentimes, people ask me, how do you stand out, be unique, and different from the sea of sameness? Because they feel like they're in a kind of like this feast or famine type of void online. So, what's up, guys? My name is Eric Anthony Klima. And in this video, I'm going to break down frameworks that I've learned from Hermosi, frameworks that I've learned myself that helped me build 2 7-figure coaching companies at this point and help over 1,300 fitness coaches grow their own brand with and without paid ads. In this video specifically, we're going to cover mainly how to build a super profitable brand without paid ads, stand out, be unique and different so that you can acquire more customers, build a strong brand, and not have to even worry about ads. So below this video, I will drop a link to this worksheet. It's going to be really important that you take the time to fill this out to really discover what's unique about your brand. Now, a brand is not your logo. It's not your fancy website. It's not the colors or fonts. A brand is what people think and associate and feel when they hear your name, what they associate you with. It's built on trust, consistency, and belief. A true brand is not about going viral. A true brand is about a company that has trust. And trust is the most important currency in 2025 because trust is at an all-time low at this moment. And so trust is going to be your highest level of currency. So you don't need to go viral to make money. We have clients with 80 followers who have made $60,000 like Alex Stephenson in the past 3 months. You don't need to believe, you don't need to go viral, excuse me. What you need is people to believe that you can help them. You need people to trust in your brand, in your business. So the goal of this training and this worksheet is to define who you are, what's different about you, what you believe, what you stand for, so that you can build an audience that builds trust a whole lot faster. And the key here, once again, of building a brand is honestly just sharing your core beliefs, your contrarian beliefs, your contradictive beliefs. Basically just sharing stories and talking about things that you believe in and not being afraid to do so. And we'll also cover, how to overcome imposter syndrome in this video, how to get yourself to show up on social media despite what other people think, because it can be scary sharing your story and your core values online. But this is how people are going to be bought into you. This is how people are going to resonate with you and relate with you. If you want to build a brand, you got to resonate and you got to be able to relate with your audience. Cool? So at the top here is core beliefs, and this is extremely important. Okay? Your core beliefs are your guiding principles of your brand, the things you'll never compromise on. And these should align with how you coach, how you live, and how you lead. So as you can see here, it says write your response below. And once again, I'll drop the link to this below so that you guys can download it and fill it in, whether you type it in, or what I would honestly suggest is for you to just get a pen and paper and just write it down, because it's just going to ingrain in your brain more. It's just going to be cemented in more. And then also do this so you can save it in the future as you start creating content and media. Cool? So your core beliefs are your guiding principles. It's what you believe in, right? And we all have our own unique core beliefs, and some people are going to agree and some people are going to disagree with these things, and that's okay. Not everybody has to like you, and that's okay. We just need we need a raving audience of people to connect with us, to resonate with us, not the whole entire world, right? Just look at, for example, look at Elon Musk. Look at the president, Donald Trump. Not everybody loves Donald Trump, but one thing you cannot deny is that he won. He's the president. And That's because people are bought into his brand from the media that he creates, from his core beliefs that he believes in. A lot of people relate to it. Now, I'm not into politics, and I'm not saying that Trump is a good or bad president. I'm not here to say that. I think he's fucking awesome. I mean, I don't really know how good of a president he is because I'm not into politics, but I like his personality because I relate to his personality himself. Like the way he acts, the way he talks is kind of similar to me. He's an asshole. I'm an asshole. So I get it. And people like myself who are ignorant in politics will vote for someone like that just because they relate to him. And so it's the same with your brand. Okay? So on the left-hand side, you are going to write down your top 5 core beliefs about life that can be fitness, business, or transformation. So if you're a fitness coach, not all of your beliefs have to be surrounded around fitness. It could be business, transformation, any core beliefs. It could be politics. All these are all things that you should be sharing on your social media. And on the right-hand side, you're going to write how these beliefs show up in your daily actions or client experience. So, for example, and if you go to the end of this worksheet, you'll have examples here. A core belief is fitness should fit into your life, not take it over, right? And the way that you show this through your brand is you teach flexible meal plans and simple 30-minute workouts to your clients. Or your core belief might be, what's another example that I can give you that might not be on this sheet? That discipline beats motivation every time, right? And the way you show this through your brand is you post daily routines showing your 4:30 a.m. training habits, right? So you're showing that you're actually living it, breathing it. Cool? So your core beliefs on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, you're going to talk about how I show this through my brand, and then you can create content around this, and your brand will start to create the branding, right? Am I making sense? So people will start to associate you, with how you're always showing up at 4:30 a.m. in the morning, or how you're always teaching flexible meal plans because fitness should fit into your life, not take it over. And you start to be known as that person, right? If you look at like people who preach keto, how do they actually show that? They eat keto themselves and they show it on their stories, they show it on their feed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So the second thing is going to be your contrarian beliefs. This is arguably one of the best ways to build a brand. This is some type of content that you should be really pumping out a lot. This is what you believe that most people don't. This is where you throw rocks at things that you don't agree with. And that's okay, because once again, there's going to be a lot of people that disagree with what you're saying, but that builds a brand, right? Once again, just look at President Trump. A lot of people disagree with him. However, you cannot disagree that he's winning and that he has raving fans. There's a lot of people that hate him, but there's a lot of people that love him, which is why he's the president. He won the votes. Or if you look at Andrew Tate, a lot of people hate Andrew Tate. I think he's awesome because he's an asshole like me. I resonate with him. I can relate with him. The things he say are some of the things that are similar to the values that I believe in. And so I'm a fan, right? And by building fans, it gets people to purchase, which is why you do not need to go viral to build a brand. Cool? So contrarian beliefs. This is, a common industry belief might be that you need to cut out carbs and lose fat. What you are going to talk about is how you can eat carbs daily and still burn fat faster. So you're throwing rocks at keto diets, restrictive diets, at cutting your calories super low, right? So on the left-hand side, you're going to write down common industry beliefs. On the right-hand side, you are going to write down the opposite truth or contrarian stance. And believe it or not, you are going to get a lot of people that disagree with you, and that's good. That's okay. We want people to disagree with us because that actually gets the content to go spread more like wildfire. Like the more engagement you get, the more people are going to see it. And the small amount of people who do agree are the people who actually turn into customers. Or there might be a lot of people who feel like you need to commit to 6 to 7 workouts a week. Instead, you talk about how you can train for 90 minutes a week and get better results, which is completely contrarian, right? And so the more contrarian you can get, the more unique you are, the more you stand out with your social media, the more that people are going to start trusting your brand because you're voicing your true core beliefs, even though it's completely against the grain, right? Another good one is like motivation is a key to success. You can say you don't need motivation, you need structure and accountability, right? You want to throw rocks at all the common beliefs and share what's completely contrarian and against the grain. Cool? So this next one is contradictive beliefs. Kind of similar to contrarian, but still different. And contradictive beliefs make you human. Once again, this is how you get people to relate with you. And this is how you show your audience you can hold two truths at once. Because depth creates connection. Depth creates connection. Remember that. So on the left-hand side for this contradictive beliefs, you're going to write one hard belief that you have. And on the right-hand side, you're going to write its softer or opposite side that makes you relatable. So you can say, for example, you have to track your meals to drop body fat, but you can still enjoy pizza and drinks in moderation. So it's like, what the hell are you talking about? You just said you have to track your meals and be on point, but you can still eat pizza to lose weight, right? Or you need discipline to win. Or you can say, but you also need rest, fun, and balance to sustain it, right? So we're talking about things that are contradictive to each other. You're contradicting yourself. And this is a really good way to build your brand as well. The next thing, what I really love is what you stand against. Okay, so let's go to the next section here. What you stand against. And this is what you refuse to tolerate or believe in. And this is really difficult to share because, we'll take it back to politics, which is a very controversial thing, right? You have Democrats, you got Republicans, and you have all these other people. And once again, I'm not into politics. However, if you are talking about your core values and beliefs of what you stand against in politics, there's going to be a lot of people that disagree with you, but there's also going to be a lot of people who do agree, leading to you building a brand. So the people who do agree with you are going to relate with you. They're going to be more bought in. They're going to want to dive into your content more. They're going to want to binge into your content more. They're going to want to, they're going to connect with you more on a human level, right? I like this guy, man. I stand against the same thing. And, I keep bringing up politics because I think it's one of the most, arguably one of the most controversial things out there. Like people get really standoffish about it. If you have these core beliefs, these values, that's why I'm not really into that stuff. But what do you stand against? So on the left-hand side, write down what you refuse to tolerate or believe in. And this could be fitness related. It could be politics related. It can be, could be just the way, relationships are. And this gives your brand an edge and attracts people who align with your values. So on the left-hand side, write down the things that pisses you off about the industry or people's excuses, right? It could be like something that you hate that trainers do, right? For example, like I can't stand trainers that hop up online and start teaching people how to make money the first day online. Like how can you teach someone how to make money if you've never made money yourself, right? Or a trainer that just started, got his certification and claims that he can help people lose 30 pounds in 90 days, but they never actually done it, or they never lost weight themselves. It's like, bro, like you just got your certification, you never trained anybody. How can you claim those things, right? On the right-hand side, you write down what you stand for instead, all right? So maybe you hate fad diets. Maybe you hate keto. Maybe you hate coaches who sell generic plans. Maybe you hate the hustle culture. Maybe you hate people who preach, X, Y, Z. And what you stand for instead is what you're going to write down on the right-hand side. So write down what you stand for. Left-hand side, write down what pisses you off. Right-hand side, write down what you stand for instead, right? Like, for example, on the left-hand side for me, I would write down, I hate the schooling system because I do. I think it's completely stupid and doesn't teach us anything on how to make money, like real money. What I stand for instead is building your own business, building your own financial freedom, building your own time freedom, learning marketing, learning sales, learning skills that pay the bills, real skills, right? High leverage skills, high income skills is what I stand for. Me personally. Now, you may not agree with that. You might be like, you're a complete nincompoop, Eric. School is the best thing ever. You have to be successful to go to college. And that's fine if you feel that way, right? That's fine. I'm not going to say it's a fact, and I'm not going to agree with you. I think our schooling systems have failed us for years and years and years, and I'm going to keep standing for that and preaching it. And a lot of people may unfollow me. A lot of people are going to disagree. The majority of people are going to disagree and stay stuck working in a 9 to 5 that they hate, and that's fine. I'm not here to build a brand to attract them. I am here to build a brand to shift their perspective about school, to shift their perspective about how our schooling system is failing us and how it's not going to lead to financial freedom. I am. That's my mission and my goal, which is another thing about your brand that you want to preach, is what your mission and your goal is with your brand, with your business. What is your mission and your goal, right? What are your core values? What is your mission of your company? Why are you online? What do you stand against? What is your origin story? Which takes me to the next thing. So what do you stand against? Like I said, I think I gave the perfect picture there. I hate school. I stand against it. Like, I think it's the dumbest thing ever. Now, I do think we should have school. We obviously need to learn English, writing, math, etc., the basics, but it should also teach marketing, sales, like at least give kids the option if they want to make true money and build their own business, right? Because you go to business school and it doesn't teach you how to do real marketing on social media and stuff. I mean, they give you basic standard bullshit. So anyways, I can go deep down in that rabbit hole all day, but I'm not going to. And a lot of you might click off and disagree, but I'm okay with that, right? I'm here for the people who do resonate and relate with me. And I'm okay with this video doesn't get 1,000 views because I'm doing it for the 200 people that do watch it and it resonates and helps, right? So the next thing, and this is arguably, I would say the first or second most important thing based on what I've learned from like Hormozi's frameworks and, people that I've invested into. What I hear is the contrarian beliefs is like one of the most important parts. But your origin story is going to be like arguably probably the most important, at least, top two next to contrarian beliefs, right? Your origin story is so important. I built my first business, my online fitness business, to, 7 figures by just telling my story. And really, like, your story is what's going to help you stand out, be unique and different. We all have our own story. And you can tell your same story over and over and over and over again 100 different times. You just package it different ways. And don't ever worry about getting tired of telling your own story. Like, if you listen to Hormozi, if you listen to me, we tell our own story like the same thing like 100 different ways every single week. Stories sell, right? Stories sell, stories resonate. It gets people to connect with your story, and pain resonates deeply. So think of your story as that emotional glue that builds connection and authority, and people follow stories. Just think about Rocky Balboa. It's one of the most popular movies. Almost everybody's seen it and loves Rocky Balboa. I haven't heard of one person that ever said they don't like Rocky. You know what I mean? So people follow stories, not sales pitches. So if all your content is sales pitches, you're never telling your story, never talking about what you stand against, etc., it's going to be difficult to build a brand. So I put a fill-in-the-blank framework here so that you guys can start packaging your story and reusing it in multiple different ways. So step 1 is to just fill in the blank, because this is your emotional glue to your brand. And you're just going to say, I used to struggle with X pain point. So whatever that pain point is, it might be, I used to struggle with not having the time to train, right? Or I used to struggle with drug addiction. For me, that's what it is. Or I used to struggle with being underpaid at LA Fitness, right? I realized the problem wasn't X, it was Y. So I realized the problem, let's go with a fitness example. I used to struggle with undereating just to overeat on the weekends and gain all the way back. I realized the problem wasn't that my workouts or calories or anything like that. It was that I was restricting my diet so hard that it wasn't sustainable, and I used to gain all the way back. So I decided, step 3, to learn how to count my macros and eat the foods that I enjoy so that I can sustainably burn fat. Now I help others drop body fat while enjoying their favorite foods and without restricted diets, so they no longer have to suffer in their diet. right? That's an example, right? So telling that story in a million different ways, you don't want to copy and paste the same thing every single time. You just want to learn how to package that story multiple different ways. Now, what I do in Google Documents is I have a bunch of my stories in what I call my brand story vault. And I just, kind of reuse them the same time so I can get on camera, talk about the same story, change a few words. And people love my story of going from drug addiction to multiple seven-figure business owner, helping 1,200 trainers, getting fired from LA Fitness. I have a lot of crazy painful stories I've gone through that resonate with my audience, right? More examples is I used to work 12-hour shifts as a personal trainer. Now I help trainers escape the gym grind. I used to binge on the weekends and start over on Monday. Now I help busy professionals create balance and consistency, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Cool? Awesome. Now, section 7 of this is your content map. Cool? So once your beliefs and story are clear, your content themes become obvious, and your content themes are all surrounded around these things. So your framework for endless content ideas is on the left-hand side, you're going to write down the pain points of my audience. And on the right-hand side, you're going to write down my core belief or story that solves it. Cool? So this is really cool. I love this. So for example, let's say an audience pain point, like a common objection that your customers are telling you in the DMs or in person or wherever it is, they say, I don't have the time to train. So your core belief or story that solves it is, I believe fitness should fit into your life, not take it over. Or you can talk about, I used to work 12, 16 hours a day at an office job and I was 300 pounds overweight. And it wasn't until I learned how to work out 90 minutes a week using my XYZ method where I was able to overcome it, lose 100 pounds, and feel better than ever. So you're telling your story about how you help people solve that common pain point of not having the time, right? Or audience pain point, another one is like most people that are trying to lose weight have tried every diet. They tried Jenny Craig, they tried keto, they tried counting their macros, etc. And you can talk about your story like, hey guys, 6 years ago, I tried every single diet and nothing seemed to work. I would just lose a lot of weight just to gain more back. And it wasn't until I learned how to do flexible nutrition that included my favorite foods like pizza and beer, occasionally where I was able to drop body fat. And the way I did it was X, Y, Z. Then I lost 50 pounds. I'm leaner than ever, more confident, and stronger and leaner and blah, 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 right? So you're telling your story about how to solve that painful point that your audience is struggling with. And this is what's going to get people to resonate, right? Your brand shouldn't be built around perfection, talking about where you are now. It should be talking about where you are in hell, right? Talking about going from hell to heaven. And that story is what's going to sell and sell and sell and sell and resonate. Cool? So finally, step 1 is define who you are, okay, of this worksheet. And once again, I'll drop this below. Just write down, define who you are. That's your beliefs, your value, your story. Write all that down. And step 2 is to communicate it consistently through content, through YouTube videos, short form, long form. Right now, short form content is really popular. Through your voice, through your visuals, you can do written content, etc. And then step 3 is to build trust through proof, results, testimonials, and transparency. Making sense? Cool. Now it's like, now that we know how to build a brand and what to talk about, etc., a lot of people have imposter syndrome or they fear what others think. And I'm going to deep dive into the psychology behind this. So imposter syndrome is believing that you're not qualified, right? You feel like you're not qualified enough despite evidence that you're doing great. So it's the gap between your current self-image and your actual results. Or you have the fear of what others think, and that's called social anxiety, or more precisely, the fear of social judgment. And psychologists sometimes call it evaluation apprehension. And at the root, both come from the same place. Your brain's survival wiring trying to avoid rejection or humiliation. You're afraid of what others will think of you. That at the core, that's what it really is. And so I want to cover a few ways that can help you overcome imposter syndrome, that helped me overcome imposter syndrome. Because when I first started, and I'm about to literally put what we learned in this worksheet into play right now. Watch this, right? So how to overcome imposter syndrome. I used to struggle with the same thing when I first started 7 years ago. I was afraid to talk about my story of going from drug addiction to being successful because I thought that nobody would trust me. But what I found is by using what we're learning in this worksheet here or this video, that I was able to actually get more people to trust me and build a multiple 7-figure brand because people trusted me even more. Now, what I thought by talking about my story of going drug addiction, I thought everybody would think I'm a loser. How can you trust a past drug addict and convict? But more people actually trusted me because I was being honest and talking about my beliefs and sharing my story, right? So the way that I overcame that, seeing how I'm applying that right now, I'm literally applying what we learned in, in the origin story, right? I'm talking about what I stand against, or actually, I apologize, the brand content map. I'm talking about audience pain points, which is the imposter syndrome, and I'm using my core story to show you how to solve it. You see? So I'm literally applying what I'm teaching you in this video. Cool? And hopefully it helps you guys. So the first thing is you want to detach your identity from performance. So stop tying your worth to outcomes. You can lose a sale or get 10 views on a post and still be elite at what you do, right? So stop tying your worth to outcomes. Stop focusing on what I call vanity metrics. It's not about likes and comments and etc. It's about generating sales at the end of the day, getting customers and building a trustworthy brand. Cool. The second thing is document evidence of your wins. So if you're shredded, keep a proof folder, look at yourself. Or if you've helped someone lose 30 pounds, keep an album of screenshots, testimonials, and milestones so you can look at it and say, I am great. I am worth it, right? And whenever you have doubt, whenever that creeps in, you just read those receipts, the proof, the evidence that you are worthy of what you're speaking about. 3 is teach what you know. You know, teaching converts uncertainty into authority. Okay? So you realize how much you do know when you explain it to others. And the more you explain it, the better you get at articulating it. 4 is reframe comparison. So don't compare your day 1 to someone's day 30, right? Use others as proof of possibility, not proof of your inadequacy. Making sense? And then the next thing is act faster than you can think, you know, because momentum kills doubt. Success loves speed. Confidence isn't built by believing first, it's built by doing anyway. And by doing it, you start to believe because you start to see the result and you start to trust yourself, right? So act faster than you can think. And the other thing is fearing what other people will think. So a lot of times we won't get on camera because we're afraid of what people will think. So what I like to do is I like to name that fear. So let's say it's fear of social judgment, fear of what someone will think. Call it out. And when you call it out, it loses power, right? The second thing is realize everyone's too busy judging themselves. Most people aren't even watching you. They're thinking about their own problems. You know, and for the small amount of people that do talk shit, once again, everybody talks shit about Elon Musk and fucking President Trump, but they're winning. Elon is the richest man in the world. Trump is the fucking president, period. So at the end of the day, despite how many people hate them, they're winning financially and with their brand, right? 3 is shift focus from you to service, servicing others, helping others. When you care more about who you're helping rather than who is watching, fear disappears, right? So I'll put out a piece of content and get only 20 likes, but the 20 people who consumed it are being helped by my content. So I'm servicing others. I'm building a brand that's servicing others. Not thinking about the money. I'm not thinking about who's going to hate it, who's going to judge it, who's going to think I look a little chunky today, who's going to judge me for the way that I speak or that I'm a past loser. I'm doing it to inspire the 20 people who do engage with it, who do see it as relevant and resonates, to impact them, right? To service them. 4 is desensitize yourself through exposure. The more that you post, the more that you get on social media, the more that you show up, the repetition is going to rewire comfort. You're going to get over that feeling of being concerned of what others think. You're just going to desensitize yourself to that bullshit, limited belief. 5 is replace judgment with gratitude, right? Every critic is proof that you're visible, and visibility equals revenue. Every hater means your message is strong enough to trigger someone else out there, right? So if someone says, this is cringe, whatever, dude, this is evidence that you are being seen. And part of the problem of why you may not be building the brand or business that you want, making money, is because nobody knows who you are. You're not visible. You're not getting any attention, right? And so you need to not give a fuck about what people think, because those haters are just going to help you build the brand that you want, right? Nobody more successful is going to hate. Nobody more successful than you is ever going to hate what you're doing. Nobody rich is ever going to be like, oh, this guy sucks, right? It's just like, it's always the people who are doing less, who are afraid to hop on camera, who don't like their own life, who are going to say something. So a quick mental reframe is the only people who will ever criticize you for playing big are the ones who gave up on their own dreams. So keep showing up, imperfect, evolving, loud, and unapologetic, right? That's how you build the brand that inspires trust, not just attention, right? Once again, let's look at one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best brand builders is Andrew Tate. The guy has built a massive fucking brand, and he's unapologetic. He doesn't give a fuck what people think. And he says radical, outlandish, insane things. Things that make a lot of people cringe. Things that make a lot of people hate him. And a lot of times I think people hate him because he tells the truth on some things. I don't agree with everything he says, but I do agree with a lot of it. And he's an asshole like me. I'm an asshole. I'm from Jersey, so I can resonate with it. I can relate to it. And a lot of you guys might think I'm an asshole and might not relate to me. And that's okay. You know, I'm doing this for the people who it does relate to, because I'm here to serve. Cool? So keep showing up, imperfect or not. You know, keep doing your thing unapologetically. Guys, right now what I want you to do is just fill in this worksheet, whether it's handwritten or a combination of both. Honestly, I like doing it handwritten, and then I also like doing it on the computer as well. That's what I find works best, because it just gets cemented in my brain more. And there's actually studies that show when you write things down, you are able to just cement it in your brain more. You're able to, you know, install it into your machine more. So to finalize everything, think about all your beliefs and everything as a machine learning, like your brain, a machine learning process. And the way you want to program it to put out your brand is by installing all this information in here. And that's how you're going to build a unique brand that's standout, that's unique and different, where people aren't just like, hey, this is just another online fitness coach doing the same exact shit. This is just another coach or brand doing the same shit as everybody else. Because that's the problem right now, is like everything is the same. So nobody resonates. Nobody trusts your brand. Nobody trusts your Instagram right now. And so they're not purchasing. They're not reaching out to you. It's not how many followers you have. It's not how many likes you have. It's not because you're not going viral. It's because you don't have trust. And the brand equals trust. Cool. So I hope this video helped out. If you guys want help building your brand in your business and learning how to generate leads, I'll leave a link below to schedule a one-to-one call with me or the team so that we can teach you how to build your brand and business. If not, totally cool. We'll see you on the next one. Make sure you guys subscribe, you like, smash that like button, and we'll see you on the next one.